I'm your host, Lamar. I'm on the block today. All right, so welcome. I'm a little late, but it's okay. If I think we had a couple tragedies in the city, man. Um, give a shout out to the families, you know, for their loved one passing, man. It's a tough thing. Um, and I just don't know what to say. Can't say we should do better. I can't say nothing, but we just gonna pray that we get a better understanding of each other, man. And every time we have a disagreement, nobody life should be lost. I can't solve it. I try not to get into other people's business, man. And I just try to mind my business. And my best thing is prayer. No prayer work. And you just have to pray for the city. To pray that we all be safe, man. Pray that when we have differences like you pull up too close or somebody bump into you or something, man, somebody just gonna have to say, my bad, excuse me, and that's it. Because somebody will be gone, and then somebody will be gone, and then somebody won't retaliate, then somebody else be gone. And it's like a never ending cycle, and we just have to pray for change, and not only pray for change, try to practice change, because don't nobody want to lose nobody to these streets, man. For whatever reason, nobody wants to do that because people get angry and then it never stops. Then more people just Satan just loose, man. So we just gonna pray that everybody gets a clear understanding of each other. And with that being said, if you're missing somebody, man, my heart goes out to you. And if you're having a tough day with that, um, it's gonna get better. It don't seem like it will, but it will. And you're gonna have good days. You're gonna have some bad days, and you're gonna have some real tough days, and then you're gonna have some days where you just okay, and then the next day might be rough. It's a roller coaster, and you don't know if it's gonna keep rolling one day or if it's gonna stop. Um, but we're just gonna just do the best you can, man, and hold your head up high and try to keep yourself together. And when it's time to shed a couple tears, just go ahead and shed a couple tears. You ain't gonna be able to stop them anyway. And with that being said, welcome to the podcast 1700 block. Just try to give you a little inspiration, man, because people get down, man. People get down, man. And the things that go on in the world, man, we don't understand why the creator does what he does, but they say he does everything well. And it's tough, man, and you losing people, and people losing their house and cars, and they worried about work, and they worried about money, and they lost their job, and you don't know how they gonna eat. People homeless, man. It's tough out here in these streets. It is, pray for our family members that's fighting a war, that they make it home safe. You know, that's something else we got to worry about now. You know what I mean? So you gotta just try to stay encouraged, okay? Thank you. I appreciate it. And pray for me and my family, and my kids. And as we walk these streets of Baltimore, man, and driving our cars, man, just try to treat people with respect and just respect each other. All right, thank you. Appreciate you for that's a public announcement. Um, so let's go with this day in Black History. Always want to go with the Black History. Always with the Black History, man. March the 3rd, 1865, U.S. Congress established a Bureau of Refugees. Freedmen um, inhabited lands. The freedmen bureau that aid millions of formerly enslaved people and poor whites in the South following the Civil War. The Tree Reform Saver Bank in Richmond, VA, the first black-owned bank to be chartered, was recognized. So the first black bank, it was in Richmond. It was called the Reformer Savings Bank. It was in Virginia. And that's what happened in the Black history. All right. Can't go no further because that's what happened on this day. Hold on, y'all. I'm looking at something. The black Mary Van Brickman Brown, a nurse, innovated the first home security system in 1960, including a camera, microphone, peephole, laying the groundwork for a modern system like Ring doorbells after feeling unsafe due to a slow police response time. Another is the Garrett Morgan, a black inventor with only elementary education, invented the three light system signals will prevent crashes leading to a signal used today. That's the red, green, and yellow. Black folks. So that's your fun fact. That's your fun fact history. Today, so hold on. So that's one of your Black history facts. Um, yeah. So that was a female did that. Um, so that's your history fact for the day. I was looking for something, but it's not it's not giving me what I really wanted. So let's see. I want to look up something. Talks about the five. Let's go over here right here. This is another fact. The five black. There are no single most famous, but Martin Luther King Jr. is often cited to do to be the global impact of civil rights, while figures like Barack Obama, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Muhammad Ali, and Michael Jackson are also extremely famous for their massive cultural and political influence spanning activism, politics, sports, and music globally. I'm gonna put you down with something. Nancy Reagan contributed. So Nancy Reagan, and we talking about, because this is Women's Month, and one of the ladies that came to me was Nancy Reagan, man. Nancy Reagan did a lot. Um, she did a lot. She spent a lot of money. She did a lot for research, man, and he left money for research. Now, what they did with it, I don't know, but she really did. She did a lot. She did a lot for AIDS. She was big on the AIDS campaign. Um, she was big on drug abuse. She was big on international drug policy. She became the first lady who addressed United Nations General Assembly in 1986 regarding global drug trafficking. Um, After her husband diagnosed, she became a promoted premeditative voice for research, and in 2004 urged federal funding to stem cell research. Actively influenced staff, including promoting the Department of Chief of Staff Donald Reagan. Chief of Staff Donald Reagan in 1987, as encouraging her husband to improve relations with the Soviet Union. Supervised extensive, primarily funding renovations of the White House residence quarters. She had something to do with the foster grandparent program. She supported and helped expand this program nationally to pay seniors with children in need. She really did a lot, man. She did. Um, she did. She was influenced, lady famous to just to say no to drugs. She did the drug campaign. Um, Significant role in managing his public image and staff, alongside her early career as a film actress and advocacy for causes like foster grandparent program. She did that, and I think she did a lot. She did some stuff with she thinks she did something with AIDS, and we just talking about because this is Women's Month. It's not really geared to just all Afro American women. Nancy Reagan and the Reagan administration are heavily criticized for that inactive and silence during the early years of 1980 AIDS crisis, where Nancy argued enabled the disease to spread and potentially stigma white later in the administration offered were made the response were making a lack of public acknowledgement. But later on, she later on she she put money, she addressed the HIV and AIDS epidemic with President Reagan's first major speech on the subject, not occurring until 1987. But I think that that's just because she was unaware of the disease. But once she found out and was aware of it, she participated in it a lot. Um, I don't know why she didn't jump on board when they wanted her to, but she finally jumped on board. Sometimes people want you to do stuff when they want you to do it. She was an active member of the LGBTQ community. Have argued that this silence contributed to thousands of deaths. So 2016, Hillary Clinton wrongly suggested that the Reagan helped start a national conversation about HIV and AIDS, for which she later apologized at the backlash from those who pointed out the administration's slow. So they said that, they should have been there, some, and they did. While later in 1980, the administration did initially initiate some funding and privileging like legislation legally that Reagan and the AIDS is one of the early neglected rather than contributions to fighting the disease. So maybe they was just unaware about it. You know what I mean? Michelle Obama. Maybe they was just, unaware about it. Unaware of it. Um, Miss Obama. Miss Obama is a highly educated lawyer and author. Grant graduated from prestigious University of Harvard Law School, product of Chicago She went to Chicago public schools. She earned a BA in sociology from Princeton, 1985. Kamala and Julius doctorate degree. Ooh, you go, girl. From Harvard in 1988, her education landed her the foundations for a career in law, public service, and university administration before becoming a first lady. And you say what you want, but them black women, them ladies smart. They smart. And the president and all them old white people, them white people, I mean, some of them educated, but most of them not. You know, women always, black women and black men, but black women always had to be more educated than any other person on this planet because they give us so much grief. And so a lot of time I think women take heat because they are intelligent and they know what to say and they know how to represent. They know how to represent, man. Women just fucking intelligent. And that ain't taking nothing but from men, but them motherfucking women, yeah. So I just want a couple Black History facts because this is Women Month. So just, you know, a little something, man. I can run it back for you. Let me see. Let me run it back for you. Born in Chicago, attended Whitney M. Jr. Magnet High School, where she excellently skipped second grade and graduated as a class in 1981. She went to Princeton University 1981 and 1985. She studied sociology and minored in African American studies. She graduated cum laude with a Bachelor's of Arts in 1985. Harvard Law School, 1985, 1988. She earned her Julius Doctor's degree in 1988. Professional family law. She worked as a corporate attorney at Sidney and Austin in Chicago. She later moved into public service as a role at the University of Chicago. Yay. Yay. As the First Lady, she strongly advocated for education, launching innovatives like let girls learn to help adolescent girls worldwide across access quality education. Smart lady. Smart. All right. So I wanted to bring you that because you know it's ladies' month, so I bring you a little something, you know. Bring you a little something. Little Nancy was all right. Nancy Reagan Center was good. We did that. So the poll, now Jasmine Crockett is running for Texas. She's trying to get in the Senate in the primary. So she ain't doing bad, excuse me. It's 53 to 45 now. So it's Dude James looking like he 53%, and Jasmine is 45.8%. 5,855, 9. So he 5,085 to 415. She 5,006 to 42. So she he's still at 53% though. It's too early to call. Republican Senator John Cohen is fighting for the 5th term of the state's Attorney General. Ken Paxton, Republican, Wesley Hunt, both, arguing it's time to change things up. Meanwhile, Democrat Representative Jasmine Crockett and the state rep James Tallarico are competing in the expansion primary of their own as they try to make the seat competitive in a general election. 53% to 45.8. Come on, Jasmine. So that's what that looked like. So we're going to pray for Jasmine. So in the strength is currently closed. The strength is a body of water where the ship containers of oil, like oil run through that. Like that's like the main Jimmy Swagger. It's closed. And they closed it due to the war. And I don't think that Trump thought they was gonna close it, but they closed it. And because they closed it, it's gonna be hard for a lot of us. And everything gonna go up like oil, heating oil, gas, shit gonna go up. Because that's like one of the main, that's one of the main thoroughways where the oil come through that little spot right there. And they close it. So while the JMIC says there was no formal legal closure of the strait when it comes to operational risk quickly, the reality is that for the vast majority of ships in their own, the waterway is currently shut in practical sense. It's shut. Why? Because they said if y'all send a ship down here, we're going to blow it up and burn it up. So it's shit. So approximately, let's do this right here. The oil hits $200 a barrel, expecting severe global inflation significance, slowing economic growth and potential recession in some areas. As a high fuel cost impact, everything from gas prices to food, slowing consumer spending and businesses' investment through oil. Procedures would benefit to stop with accurately the shift of alternative energy. So it's gonna be bad. So let's see when it closed. I think it closed March 2nd. When the war on March 2nd, the Israel Revolutionary Guard Corps officially confirmed that the strength of Hormuz was closed, and that any ship that entered the strait would be set on fire. This came after several reports of Iranian attacks on ships passing into the Strait of Hormuz. So you can't go through there. So the Strait of Hormuz transit volumes are about 1.5 million barrels per day for LPG and 1.2 million barrels for Napa flows through the East Asian crackers and particularly exposes with more than 37% of the global seaborne volume transit the strait. So you see how much oil, and it's not just oil, it's fuel, it's probably oil, it's fuel. So oil comes in. You have gas, you have oil, you got heat oil, you got red oil, so it's just oil. When you say oil, it's a lot of stuff. You got lubricants that come through there. Transmission fluid is a form of oil. And then you have raw materials of oil, so when it talks about oil, it's just not gas. It's a lot of minerals and a lot of byproducts and stuff that make oil. So when it talks about oil, it talks about raw oil, raw material, things that make oil, um, all of that kind of stuff. Stuff that goes in gas, stuff that goes for practice, lubricant oil. Like it's a lot of stuff when it talks about oil. So it's a lot. It's not just gas. Because when you get it, you have to still. It has to be refined, and it's a whole bunch of stuff that go into it. So it's real big when they close it, man. Um, so Iran oil comes from China. Exports Iran and Venezuela export most of their crude oil to China. So most of it goes to China. Any new challenge in obtaining oil from the Persian Gulf could drive China to expand its relationship with Russia energy supply. So, like if you keep playing, we could really get shut out the game. Um, so oil only lasts typically 5 years. How do I know the shelf life of ExxonMobil state is generally recognized shelf life for oil as greases? See, because grease is a form of oil. Greases is typically 5 years when stored properly in the original seal container. Oil does not have an exact shelf life. Drums or oil do not contain anything that goes bad in the way food does. So oil can basically last forever. Basically, ain't like it's going mold. Might not be as strong, but um. So let's see. I think So no single country controls the strength or hormone. It's governed by the international law, with Iran and Oman bordering it and starting responsibility. While the U.S. Navy also patrols the ensure safe and safe passage through recent tensions have seen Iran threatening to restrict traffic. That's going to impact the market because Iran borders the strait to the north and controls several islands, giving a significant naval influence and ability to threaten closure as seen in recent. So it borders, and Oman borders the strait on the south side, sharing jurisdiction and responsibility for maritime safety. United Arabic, they also borders the strait through the influence of the less direct than Iran and Oman. The U.S. Navy Fifth Fleet operates in the region of guarantee free of navigation despite Iranian threats. So it ain't ours. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea governs passages allowing for transit passengers through international waters within the strait, which Iran and Oman have expanded their territorial sea into. So technically, they can stop anybody they want to from going through there. That shit gonna be a problem because they gonna stop us. We beefing with them. So they like, if y'all come through here, we just gonna burn them up. Now, China is the overwhelming and the biggest buyer in Iranian oil, purchasing over 80% of its exports, primarily through independent refining teapots. who deposit from sleep, discounts, discounts, securements, U.S. sanctions making China Iran most critical energy customers despite international restrictions. The next significant buyers are the United Arab Empires, due to much smaller volume acting as a transmittership port. Transmittership port for some Iranian crude. So you got you have one person buying them, another person shipping them. So I buy them, then I give them to my man, and then my man ship them, and then he get a cut for his country for shipping them. Well, we beefing with all them people. So we buy US goods trade with Iranian total estimate of 60.0 million 2025 US goods exports in Iranian. 2025 were 59 million, down to 39 million. Well, well, well 58 to me, 58.6 is 60 million. So over 60 million, it was down by 35.1%, which made it 33 million from 2024. U.S. imports from Iran total 1.4 million in 2025. It's down 77.7% and took it down to 4.8 million from 2024. So as you can see the numbers, they really ain't messing with us right now. So we might be in a little motherfucking trouble. We might be going to see a little something. A gallon of gas in Iran it's extremely cheap due to the heavy government subsidized cost around 11 US% a gallon. So it's 11 cents a gallon. It's 11 cents a gallon, or about 15,000 Iranian ruins. That was in 2026, making it amongst the world's lowest price through official rates can vary slightly from day to day. That shit is 11 cents. Yeah. It's 11 cents. That's what it say. It can't be $11. It's 11 cents because it's a dollar sign 0.11. And I don't see a cent sign. So it's 11 cents per gallon. It's 11 cents per gallon. So that's where we at right there, man. So China and Russia, so China and Iran is the largest, most dominant trade partners, serving as the biggest customers for oil and a major source of imports despite U.S. sanctions, making them true economic allies. Turkey, India, Iran, and Pakistan are also a significant partner, but China absorbs a far larger potential of Iranian trade, especially discounted crude oil, forming the backbone of that economic relationship. So China gonna probably wind up getting that oil, and we gonna have to buy that shit from China. But China gonna be affected. So when you messing with their oil, then you fucking with China. China being like, come on, Trump. Come on, man. You on some bullshit. We can't get no oil because you messing it up over here. And see, that's gonna that's gonna trigger something. The vast majority, over 80% of Iranian oil exports goes to China, even when channeled through ghost fleets. to bypass sanctions. So we got sanctions and they send ghost ships. So they like, yo, send 6 ships. All only gonna be on one. Send the first 5. So they call them ghost ships. While China and Iran diversifies energy, Iran is far more dependent on China, which accounts for a significant portion of Iranian total trade. China is also Iran's latest source for imports goods, including consumer products, merchants, and raw materials. So oil is a part of the raw materials. Partners, China, key partner for Iran, including Turkey, a major import and export, Iran, India, and Pakistan. Right for, yeah. So what they do, well, Pakistan, particularly for foods like rice, corn, and industrial materials. So let's see something right quick. So when they was talking about the stuff in Venezuela, they saying it was old because 20-year motor oil is generally not good for your car engine, as the adjective have likely degraded as oxidized, failing to provide adequate protection, even if it was sealed. While the base oil might seem fine, additives like detergents and anti-wear agents break down and containments are accumulated, risking significant engine wear used for its non-critical lubricants like hinges or recycling it instead. So like when they get real old, shit ain't no good. Let me see something. So that's where we at, man. Just figure out, bring you a little knowledge to help you kind of understand like what kind of pressure we might be under, man. We might be under a lot of pressure. And that's what I was talking about, like when you mess with our allies. So next I'm gonna come back with when I come back, I'm gonna come back with what our allies do and what they there for and why we need them. So our allies are really their neighbors and shit. We need them. We need them. So we burning bridges. And them little countries, like we need them little countries. Like they like mom and pop stores when you can't get to the supermarket. Like when you can't get to the grocery store. So our allies, they our ears and eyes, and we need them. And they them little people who contribute to the big picture. And like you can't cut them out. It's like the middleman. You can't cut them out. And so when you cut them out, man, you destroy some of the very fabric stuff that we need. Like, you know, um, just say you need some stockings or something to go to church and the market closed and the market don't have and you go to the hair store, you know, or you go to Walmart. They the go-to store. So our allies, they our go-to people when you can't get to the big people. And this administration, man, wants to cut them people out, but we need them people. And we need them. They built strong character, man. This shit a fucking mess. So when I come back through, I'm gonna try to explain to you, why we need the allies, who our allies are, the United Nations and what they do and all of that, because that plays a part in like what's going on now because we need them for goods and supplies. And when you mess with them, we don't a lot of shit we don't produce. We don't produce a lot of food. We don't produce a lot of oil. We trade a lot of stuff with a lot of people, but we don't produce really shit. We don't really produce a lot. Um, what does the United States produce as far as trade? The United States is a leader global export and primarily producing and trade highly valued goods like refined crude, petroleum, cars, automotive parts, mechanical, and commercial aircrafts. Major exports also include agricultural products, soybean, corned beef, chemical products, electronic, and medical equipment. The U.S. relies on exports for 20 of its agricultural products. So we don't produce really a lot. We don't. We don't have a lot of technology. We have cars and aircraft, spacecraft, um, industrial, um, integrated circuits, computers, components, specialized equipment, soybean, corn, wheat, and meat, fruit and nuts. But it's not a lot. Plastic, rubber, pharmaceutical, and industrial chemicals. The U.S. primary exports to Canada, Mexico, China, Japan, and Germany. As of 2024, the U.S. produced significantly more goods and services than imports, with production value roughly 7 times greater than the value of its imports. But all right, so let's do this right quick. Who does the U.S. get their most supplies from? It's really import. Mexico. United States imports the highest value of goods from Mexico, which greatly surpasses China and becoming the top supplier from closely by China and Canada. They are our main 3 primary sources for U.S. goods. So we get a lot of our shit from Mexico, China, and Canada. So I'll try to get into that when I come back. I'll get into where we get our stuff from and all that. So I just wanted to bring you that brief segment. Well, it was a little brief. I stayed on here a little while, but I'm trying to just clear up a lot of stuff, man. See where we're going economically and see what kind of turn we're gonna do. I mean, we in war. This ain't the first time we've been in war. It won't be the and it probably won't be the last time. I just pray that everything be okay and we don't have no whole bunch of casualties. They don't blow up the airport and all of those stuff like that. And I don't think we'll ever get along with anybody, but I think we should have some relations where war should not be the only option. Because people lose their life when they can't come together. Because the first thing they want to do is kill you and blow up your world, and that's crazy. But that's just how the world is. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning. Thanks for watching. The podcast 1700 block. I'm your host, Lamont. Appreciate your support. Everybody have a great day. I'll be back through tomorrow. See if we can't clear some of this up. All right. Thank you.